I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Well, it is 6 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. You're going to see a bit of meteorologist Gabe Maynor here in a minute. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 6 o'clock. And of course, we have had some thunderstorms around. We've got a ton of your Weather Watcher pictures to get through. We will show some of those for you. Coming up here live from the Room to Room Weather Center here in a couple of moments, but still, of course, tracking some isolated showers and thunderstorms out there. Appreciate Amber and Pisgah. One of our more recent pictures this evening. As you can see, just the dark clouds there associated with some of the gusty winds. We have not had a lot of reports, but at least querying the different pixels between the 5 and 6 o'clock show on this storm when it was in southern Prentiss County, we did probably get some about 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts out of this. Appreciate Amber there in the Pisgah community for sharing her Weather Watcher shot. All the dark clouds there, Pickens County, Carter with that. This is one of those scary looking sort of clouds that, again, looks a lot worse than the reality of it. It actually is there. But appreciate Carter for sharing that with us. Adrian with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers up there, some of the dark clouds. He looks like he's out there to get the drone. I'm hoping we get some of that drone video maybe for Mississippi Live Weather at 10 o'clock there, Tishomingo County. Appreciate all the North Mississippi Storm Chasers out there. And then Caleb with this shot there. Lots of dark blues there as that severe storm moved into and through the Starkville area a little bit earlier on this afternoon. Let's get to the radar here on Mississippi Live Weather. And as we look at that, we're going to switch things over from that weather picture and show the overall shot. And this cluster of storms here from Oxford back to Hernando has really kind of filled in. And again, one of our greater threats here in the Room to Room Weather Center we've been tracking is that potential for some flooding rainfall to go along with this as well. So let's bring this in a little bit closer at this cluster of storms that we do have up here. Again, Hernando back to Oxford. Again, lightning heavy rainfall with this entire batch there stretching this from Senatobia. Again, right over top of Sardis Lake and then back to the north side of Oxford there. I'm going to check our camera with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers on that, kind of looking back into this activity. And again, we'll wait for this to update here in a second, depending on the exact angle. You can see how it went from some sunshine to some not in a hurry. I'm going to actually pivot this camera somewhat. So give us a moment here. I believe, Gabe, you on this one?
I am.
Okay, so what way we're looking on this?
It's a straight northeast.
Okay, straight northeast. So really kind of looking into the heart of this. If you go east just a little bit more, yeah, I mean, that's the heavy rainfall with this. So we do still have some visibility. Anytime you have these kind of wicked, fingery sort of looking clouds sitting down from this, it's easy to say, tornado. No, it's lightning's what we've got. But what this is instead here is this is the edge of one of those outflow boundaries we often show. And this is going to take some getting used to on what you've watched us as our coverage at the old place versus now. We have cameras we can show you, which is not something we had before. And so there's going to be hopefully some education that goes on this. So a lot of times we're going to have these wicked little fingers kind of sticking out there. The rain-cooled air from the thunderstorm helps to give us that shot like what we have there. So it kind of just makes it look a little more rough than it actually is, thankfully. So let's kind of flip things back over here. And you'll notice that, again, that heavy rainfall, the main factor really on that whole storm. And so as we kind of go back over to the rainfall mode, the really how heavy is it raining mode on this, you can see over the last 3 hours, and most of it's which easily been within the last hour, it's been coming down at a pretty heavy clip. I mean, you notice here where we show some of those yellows on there near Coldwater and Senatobia, and also just pretty much right over top of Oxford. You know, we're talking about an inch of rainfall in some of those spots really within the last hour, and that 2.3 there, I want to see something here. So give me a moment to go back a couple of minutes on this. Rain, that show started there. Yeah, it's been, I guess, about 5. I mean, this is a 1 hour loop, and all that fell in the last hour. So that tells you it's been extremely heavy rain falling out of this batch there. I'm going to check from the Memphis Tower Doppler radar and another radar there to check some of the rainfall rates. As you can see, some of those spots there where the rainfall rates right now close to 5 inches, but there were points there where it was close to 7 inches an hour if it had stayed put. And the issue is in some of these cases it is. So there is a flooding potential out of some of these thunderstorms, unfortunately here. I'm going to check the wind mode out of that radar there at the Memphis airport. And we're going to put this back into loop mode here. Has kind of the best close shot of it. And you see where you have these kind of, one watch this red flare up there. I'm going to clear off all these areas where we're kind of bringing in the data for a moment. But you see how this spot where that like brighter red shows up right there? This is where we do have some stronger winds. I'd say probably still only 40-mile-per-hour winds, but trying to move into the Oxford area. We got another one of these, the heavier rainfall and wind there moving into Sardis, through Sardis, I should say, and into Batesville as well. Let's check out our camera in Batesville at this moment. Again, coming into Batesville with this, it's going to be a lot of gray because we're in the rainfall. So wait for this to update because it pulls the last image before we pulled it. And it does look like actually it is updating there. So we might have to swing that back down south. I guess the roadways do look fairly wet there. Gabe will get on it and we'll kind of swing that here in a moment. But again, heavy rainfall, the main part of that. Am I looking from the wrong spot there? My rainfall on the screen there doesn't show up. Hold on. Let's make sure Matt's paying attention to the right storm here. I'm sorry. It's still north of Batesville there. The wind. I know what we've got. We've got the outflow. Let's go back to the rain mode on this. That'll show us kind of what we're looking for here. It's gonna be just a second to bring up Memphis precipitation on that. That's exactly what that is. See, I got fooled by an outflow, Gabe. That doesn't happen every day.
Happens to the best of us.
Ah, well, today it happened to me. I don't know if I'd say best of us. So let's go Tower Doppler. Let's go back to the precipitation mode there. That does a better job of showing it. And so there's that rain cool there moving into the area. And so the rainfall's still up here towards Senatobia. And by the way, you notice it's less bright on this because this particular radar, the one out of the airport up there, does its best job of looking at wind. It looks for turbulence on those thunderstorms. So that's kind of the point of it. It's supposed to be a little better on the wind mode there. So you can see though how it does extend eastward. Out here, you can kind of see that line there. So continuing to kind of build that direction with these storms as well. And we do have a couple others that have developed south of Oxford as well. So, I mean, this is not moving very quickly. A lot of times we can put a storm track on these and get you a good time. But you'll notice if I watch right here over Oxford, it's kind of flared up. It's kind of stayed over top of you the entire time. So a lot of heavy rainfall with this. Unfortunately as well, or fortunately, depending on your perspective. I know a lot of folks need some rainfall. This one actually is trackable. Out here, Coffeyville on your screen there. We're looking at Bruce and Pittsboro, Bentwood bounds there. Again, heavy rainfall with this. Not as impressive as the storm up north, but we'll get you a storm track on this and I'm going to only go about 10 miles per hour on the movement on that. We'll say 12. That might be overdoing it a little bit. So New Hope we show at about 612. This is, I guess, the New Hope out here in western part of the area, not the one in Lowndes County. We're looking at Shepherd at 613, Schoona at 619, 620 Pittman, and closer there to Bruce at 621, Pittsboro 633, and Bounds at about 643. Some gusty winds on this, going back to the wind mode here on radar. Again, not over the top. We'll check out of the radar site there in Monroe County, see if we have a better angle at it. And now I'd say most of these winds only about 20 to 30 miles per hour. So bring it back here at precipitation mode on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. You might ask the question, what is all this green here? These are clear air returns that we have on our radar that it's picking up because of the fact that we've had some precipitation go through, and sometimes that just changes the angle at which the radar beam goes through it. A lot of times though, it's bugs and stuff like that, believe it or not. Check the Pontotoc camera. We'll get that swung around. We'll look at Pontotoc here in a minute. Well, in the near term though, I'm gonna look at the storm that's kind of popped up close to the Tupelo area as well. I'm gonna pull that one up on camera. We were kind of looking through the tower at that one a few minutes ago, checking our Tupelo camera at this moment. Again, in kind of the heavier rainfall versus what it was even just a little bit ago, as we're kind of glistening off of that tower there. I'm gonna swing that camera. We might swing that one around too, Gabe, if we could.
Where are you wanting to look at?
So,
for the Pontotoc camera?
For the Pontotoc camera, kind of look back to the west and northwest. I'm gonna swing Tupelo. I'm gonna swing that back toward the southeast. Just give me a moment to kind of pull that up there as we swing through the tower and kind of back over here to the east and southeast. We've got a little rainbow there showing up. Nice little rainbow as that resolution kicks in. That'll actually get better because we'll get more sunshine as that storm's moving away. So believe it or not, if we check on that a little later on the show, that'll actually be a little bit better. And then obviously into the heart of that heavy precipitation there could be a little bit of, I'd say it's certainly heavy rainfall. I don't know if we necessarily have hail. And what I'm looking for is to see if we can see one of those rain foots with the gusty winds kicking out. Doesn't look that bad. This would be US 45 as we're looking mainly south-southeast from around the, you know where Walls is in Tupelo? Pretty close to the Walls area there near Sunshine Mills, generally where that camera is located. I mentioned the Pontotoc camera a second ago there as he's looking back to the northwest toward those storms back out there into Lafayette County. I'm sorry. So we're kind of looking back into those there. Again, the dark clouds, but nothing looks too terribly impressive out of that. So just the moderate rainfall. Again, we need some rain, so don't have a lot of folks complaining about that possibility this evening. So the storm we had in Plantersville, and that was the one we were looking at just a moment ago with that rainbow. You might, behind the scenes there, pan it back to the kind of north, see if we can catch that rainbow in a little more detail here in a minute if we're lucky enough.
You want to take that Rainbow Wrangler title from Caleb, don't you?
Well, I'm trying to give it to you, right? Okay, we'll say maybe 15 miles per hour. That's probably pushing it on the speed. So we show that getting Oak Grove Park there about 6:14. Union Community about 6:27 and 6:39 there for Shiloh. Again, current time is right at 6:11 p.m. here on Mississippi Live Weather. And then the storm we had earlier, when we were tracking up there close to Boonville, that has largely collapsed, moving toward the south and east and fallen apart. Just moderate rainfall. Our storm we had up in Marion County has fallen apart, and the storms we've had down here into Pickens County have fallen apart as well. Wider assessment, we do have one there south of Chula, closer to Yazoo City. Also, kind of in the upswing here, there's kind of the edge of the area. We don't necessarily, again, we're still trying to define exactly coverage area and where they'll work. So since this is the edge of the area, we'll give it a go. And we'll get that toward Pickens. If it moves 18 miles per hour, we're looking better part of around an hour, almost exactly an hour there, about 7:12, 7:15, when it would make it to the Pickens community there, if that can hold together. Outside of that, most of these thunderstorms, again, it's moderate rainfall at most, the kind of bigger impact with these. Now we do have, I believe, some information coming in. Our meteorologist Gabe Maynor will have for us here in just a second due to the rainfall. Is it right that you're saying flood advisory now in effect for some spots?
That's what they're saying in the Storm Chasers chat, just that they are going to issue that for the amount of rainfall that we've received.
Which is reasonable considering how much rainfall, as you mentioned a moment ago, that we have received. It has been pretty significant so far. Let's pull up some of those accumulations. Again, the 3-hour rainfall total.
6:06, by the way.
Say again?
That was issued around 6:06.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll plot that on here. Give me a moment on our warnings. So I have our warning map set to where it does not show all of the flood advisories, things of that nature. So give me a moment while I plot that on there. So you see this is that flood advisory that's in effect there for Lafayette County, for Pontotoc, for Union, for Marshall, and Tate and Panola counties. That's in effect, as you can see, until 9:15 because of the heavy rainfall that's accumulated for some of those spots. So again, in this case, aerial flood advisory. Let's talk about that word. This word is one of those, what does it mean? It's aerial. No, it's the area. So basically, in this case, it's when floodwater is not moving quickly, but just kind of coming up wherever it is. So fast-moving floodwater, that's flash flood warning. That's where we typically have the most loss of life. This is a aerial flood advisory, so it's a sign that the water is coming up, but it's mainly sitting there as opposed to rushing water at this point. It tends to be a threshold that is less than the other. So aerial flood advisory for some of those spots there in effect until 9 this evening. I do want to bring in our meteorologist Gabe Maynor here. Again, you've been tracking a number of things as well here from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, the room-to-room Weather Center. What do you got going on?
Well, with that flood advisory, I do want to say as well, you know, that typically happens with areas that are prone to flooding. You get those possible flooding with about 1-2 inches of water starting to build. And so if your area is susceptible to rainfall, well, you know that because it usually happens in those heavy thunderstorms. So just go ahead and prepare. And those are usually the areas we watch for in those flood advisories. Now, the flash flood warning, that's where it can become a bit more dangerous and life-threatening. So fortunately, we're not at that point right now, but with more rainfall moving in, definitely something that we are watching into the rest of our evening. Speaking of the first 12, we see those rain chances starting to pick up by 7 o'clock. I say pick up, remain right around 40%. 8, 9, 10 o'clock, still around 30% coverage. So decent coverage, which means more of that supplemental rain showers that we so badly need here in North Mississippi. Those do continue by 10. 10% chances early hours of our Wednesday morning by 1, 2, 3 a.m. And then towards tomorrow morning, we're going to be waking up and heading out the door to mild conditions, but drier conditions with a lot of that cloud cover still blanketing the sky. So Futurecast, you can see right here that we are still going to get, I'm just going to zoom this out to really show those rain chances, but you can see where the bulk of the rain showers and rainstorms lie, and that's down around Jackson and Hattiesburg. Some of that moisture building up into North Mississippi, and that's where we're expecting our best threshold for a few of those showers by 10. One of the things we'll be tracking on Mississippi Live Weather at 10, so all the more reason to tune in, get the latest on those chances overnight. But that front, that tries to get closer and closer heading into our Thursday, and that's going to be the big driver in our rain chances for Thursday afternoon. You can see Thursday morning, that moisture primarily to the south and up here in North Mississippi, mostly cloudy skies. Heading out the door for your Thursday morning, still mostly dry, but along that frontal boundary, especially as it transitions into into that stationary front, we will see some more of those pop-up showers. So the closer that front is, the better our rain chances are. As of right now, still pretty isolated, but the positioning of that will be the dictator in all of that. So Thursday, 9 a.m., still staying on the drier side, partly cloudy skies. And by the time we get into lunchtime, of course, that's when those rain showers start to move in ever so slightly. We're talking 10% coverage by 12, still about 10 to 20% by 3. And then mid to late afternoon is when those rain chances really start to climb, primarily around that 6, 7, and 8 o'clock hour, and then those chances dissipating out overnight. But again, the positioning of that front is the big driver in this forecast and one we're going to be paying attention to in that extended forecast, and even with the latest model runs coming up tonight at 10. But what we're going to be talking about here in the next 60 is just basically what to expect with those rain chances moving forward, the positioning on that, where are the rain chances at now, and a little update on that rainbow there in Tupelo. So all the more reason to stay tuned here at Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We'll see you back here in just a minute. I clicked off it again. I did.
You're fine.
It happens every time.
We'll see you in 60.
At Room to Room, did you know our specialty is custom ordered upholstery? Get the furniture you want and the fabric and color selection you want. With our free design service, we won't let you make a mistake.
Your family deserves the most beautiful smile possible. At Tupelo Smiles, we use precision dentistry and advanced technology to make visiting the dentist an amazing experience. Relationship-based comprehensive care. Come discover the difference at Tupelo Smiles.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lawpon.
So rain chances more limited on your Thursday. I think we'll still have some afternoon pop-up showers and thunderstorms. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. You've heard from meteorologist Gabe Maynor, and you'll see some of your Weather Watcher pictures from him in more detail as well coming up here in a couple minutes. But I think tomorrow, after starting off at 74, will be 92 with a few scattered showers in the afternoon. Not as many as what we had today, but I think we'll probably gradually end up increasing them as we go into the evening. And of course, be tracking them right here in the Room to Room Weather Center then as well. As we look at the high temperatures of the next 7 days, you see they definitely continue to increase, right? From Thursday, Friday into the weekend. We have a cold front technically coming into the area. Is it going to be cold? No, but it's going to be slightly drier air, and that makes a difference on making it feel hotter in this case, believe it or not, because if you reduce any moisture, you get more flexibility on the temperatures, and that means those rain chances, they start collapsing. Not to completely zero this weekend, but less than 20% on that coverage. It's that time of year, a little pop-up, still possible. Certainly rain chances getting a little better in the next week, and we definitely need it. So here is Futurecast. Again, through the next few hours, as you saw a moment ago, that big batch of thunderstorms that we've had up here closer to Oxford, expanding toward the south and east, this kind of line developing with it. Heavy rainfall, lightning, some gusty winds again from time to time possible, and that rainfall more likely to be flooding than some of the other issues that we end up seeing with this. As we progress into this evening, you see 11:30 to midnight or so, most of this out of here, and just mainly dry and cloudy conditions to begin the first part of your Thursday morning. Thursday, low temperatures will be about 72 in Tunica, 72 in Senatobia. With the quantity of rainfall, some folks have seen there will be some patchy dense fog tomorrow morning. Again, if you're one of those spots that saw 3 or 4 inches like that, which a few of us have been today, you're one of those locations most likely to see some of that fog. We're 73 in Grenada, 74 Belzona, and 75 degrees in Greenville, about 73 there in Starkville, and 74 to start in Columbus. We show a few isolated showers, a greater number of those as we go into the afternoon time period in particular, but through the morning, just not much activity there with that cloud cover, and in some cases that fog taking a while to break up. This still shows some fairly dense, widespread low cloud cover still through around noontime. That could hold temperatures down ever so slightly if that ends up being the case. We show still mainly dry conditions there through even maybe 2 to 3 o'clock, but definitely increasing more as we go into the afternoon. Starting with a couple, and notice spreading to become more as we head toward 4, 5:30, 6 o'clock or so. Fairly decent coverage, not quite what we had today, but still Our next best chance for rainfall that we'll have for a while. Today was the better, but still a decent chance, hopefully, for some spots for tomorrow. We're 94 for the high temperature Tunica and Clarksdale for tomorrow, 96 Greenville, 95 in Belzona, about 93 Water Valley, 91 Oxford and New Albany. Our normal this time of year, about 92 to 93, so pretty spot on from most locations versus what we were for today. We'll be 101 in Water Valley, Bruce, and Grenada for those heat indices, and all the way up here, the 105 greater, prompting heat advisories. Everybody in the Delta under those again for tomorrow, maybe even Friday, depending on how things play out. Here is Futurecast as we go toward your Thursday evening. Still some isolated showers still showing up out there. Sardis back toward around Boonville, but starting to dry things out a bit more as we progress into the evening. Let's go wider on the shot here and let's talk about a couple of things. First off, there is a cold front depicted here. Is it going to be cold? No. Good. I'm glad you did that. I was hoping, like in my mind, I was like, maybe Gabe will chime in with me on that. No, it's not. Out here, even toward Washington, locations back to the northeast, it's barely cooler. And for us, we're just at the trailing edge of this here where you could have just maybe clipped it off the east. What it is some slightly less humid air that's moving in, and that will again begin to probably build temperature somewhat more as we head into this upcoming weekend. But as we go into your Friday here, as you'll note, again, scattered showers possible around the region. But for us, if we bring it in a little closer, you know, so again, more mist than hit. So today was kind of our peak rain chance. We go down a notch tomorrow. We go down yet another notch as we head toward Friday. There'll still be some isolated showers then, and the weekend chances, I think, are lesser than that. So low to mid 90s out there for high temperatures on your Friday. As we look at that forecast hour by hour, though, for your Thursday, from 74 at 7 a.m. will be 87 by noon, 92 for tomorrow afternoon. Showers start popping up once we hit what we call the convective temperature, about 30% on that rain coverage and diminishing somewhat more as we head into the evening and overnight time period. 20% rain coverage for your Friday. We're 96 for the high on Saturday, 97 degrees by Sunday. So yeah, temperatures heading up. I think we're going to see heat indices, even with slightly drier air, probably up in excess of 100 and 105 in some spots into the latter part of the weekend. That is not as big a spread as what we had with the last batch of heat. But heat advisory is something we expect out of August, so it should not be a shock. Coming up here in 60 seconds, we'll have the latest look at Mississippi Live Weather Radar. We'll look at your Weather Watcher pictures. We might even take a check of the tropics as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
Here is your opportunity to add 2 beautiful guns to your collection and support scouting. Scan the QR code to purchase your chance to win a Browning Citori 725 Sporting Maple over and under 12 gauge shotgun, or a 75th anniversary Boy Scout commemorative Winchester Model 9422 rifle. Support the Natchez Trace Council Scouts with your raffle entries today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
You're welcome back here to the Room to Room Weather Center on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Loppon. You'll see some of your Weather Watcher pictures from Gabe, and there have been a lot of those sent in, including one damage picture that he's trying to get loaded in here, and he's going to try to get that over to the Weather Service as well using our NWS chat. One of the ways we communicate, of course, all the forms of communication here. Appreciate the good governmental folks that work so hard every single day, but obviously getting very rainy on this shot here in the Oxford area. That's why you in Lafayette County and other locations there around, such as Panola County and up there toward Union County, part of a flood advisory, an aerial flood advisory that is in effect. As you can see there, Marshall County, as well as Pontotoc County, parts there of Panola and Tate counties under this flood advisory, and what we call sometimes an aerial flood advisory there. So as I click that off, we'll again check some of the rainfall totals. This is over the course of the last 3 hours, most of which has occurred in the last hour. 2 to 3 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain over a fairly short period of time. That's what's causing some of the issues that we have. But I mean, still over the last 3 hours, we've also had about 2 inches of rain up there, Alcorn County, another inch or so back toward Boonville and Corinth as well. So the rainfall totals have been fairly substantial for quite a few spots this afternoon. Bring it back here over to the rainfall mode on Mississippi Live Weather Radar as we clear all those off again. The heavy rainfall and lightning, the big story here. No severe weather with this. I'm going to emphasize that very, very clearly. This is not severe. Now, is it impactful? Yes, but severe? No. Gabe, you got that look on your face. What's the struggle?
Technology.
Okay, what's the problem with it?
It's just taken a little bit. I think it's my personal device that is giving me the joy of my life right now.
Okay, so okay, well, I'll get that on for you here in a minute. Trade me places. I'll get that ready.
Okay.
I'll let you track that from here. So again, there is very little movement on this. I mean, you look at the 1 hour loop here, and it's just kind of the same spot. That's the reason we have that flood advisory in effect. I'll take the device. I'll get it from you. We'll get it on there.
First
okay?
6 images of that. So yeah, I mean, you're seeing.
Oh, so you're doing 6 is your device locked up? Is where it's just not?
It just freezes.
Cool. That's awesome.
Apple is so amazing. I just
It
love
is amazing. So are they in your picture folder?
They are.
Okay, I'll find a way to get it on here.
It's the first 6.
Okay, give me a moment.
Okay, so
why are you not on Wi-Fi?
I was, and it didn't work, and I was like, maybe it's the Wi-Fi.
It's not the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is great here.
And then I realized I had T-Mobile, and T-Mobile
has its moments where it's great. So okay, we'll leave it there.
But that flood advisory is still in effect. Did we get a time on that flood advisory?
Yeah, 9:45.
9:45.
Yeah, we've got that there.
Well,
go south to Bruce, I'd say.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, what we're watching is just those strong thunderstorms that are still in the area, and strong being the heavy rainfall that's associated with it. And if we look at that accumulation over the last 3 hours or so, we can definitely see that building, as Matt was talking about, right around that Bruce area. Let's take it to the latest scan on here, and I'm just going to manually drag that out, populate in a few of those totals, and you can see about 1 inch already, and that's over the last hour or so there in Bruce. So this is one that we're watching for the potential of that flood advisory possibly being extended a little bit more to the south. So that around Bruce, if we track this out, let's put this back in play. As you can see, building a little bit more over the last few minutes, and then that's continuing to push east there through Bruce and the eastern side of Calhoun County. So I'm going to take it on the latest scan and kind of extend that out, moving east. I would say, what was the speed you had on this?
It was only like 15 miles per
15?
hour.
Okay.
Are you think east? Yeah.
These are moving a little bit more east, and we can take that. Let me go over the last hour.
Yeah, those are maybe a little south of east, but yeah, I think that's not bad.
We can do it one more time because we got time.
We do, and you know what? I got your I got your stuff working over here.
You are the tech wizard over there.
I don't know about that, but
my young self just couldn't figure it out.
Young person. I'll switch back, and we'll go over to you with that here in a minute.
Sweet.
But yeah, southeast there, you can see toward Buckhorn, we show about 706. Can you tell the height difference between Gabe and I standing over here?
Oh, just because I was closer.
I'm not. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not short. He's just tall. I'm not short, actually. But anyway, let's clear that off of there. Let's kind of slide southward again. One that's popped up here near Misterton, closer to Lilac. I'm going to pull up our camera there in Winona to kind of look toward that there, see if we got a shot on that. Again, kind of all these different cameras point different directions, so we get to kind of move them from time to time as well. One of the things, again, that we're still kind of structuring the best way to move that. So we'll go ahead and swing this one around. Let me look at that shot one more time. Give me just a moment. I think we'd have to look north out of that. And we'll swing this just a little bit. So there is 280, 306, and there we are, kind of looking in that general direction there. So this would be that storm that we're looking at kind of north there of Montgomery County, up there toward kind of Calhoun County sort of area, Grenada. So still a long ways away and not particularly high on the top of that. I think it's probably that one right there that we're kind of looking up toward the top of. So decent shot there, and appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for that. Again, it's not a particularly large storm, but it's nice that we're able to actually look at it and say, nope, it's not getting any higher than that. So that one probably falling apart before it gets really anywhere. So I'll track that toward Alva, and 13 might be overdoing it. 658 there to the Alva community, how long it takes before it gets down there to you. Our storm around Tupelo's collapsed. Storms up north and west have collapsed largely as well. So in general, I think, again, as we kind of talked about earlier, we've kind of reached the peak. I want to look up here north of Tennessee just in case some of these.
They could clip depending if they live.
Yeah, it's possible. But really more of this batch here, kind of what we're watching, this whole big line. This will kind of, I think, continue working south and east. I'm going to give it a little bit of speed, and I just want to see just how slow it decides it wants this to go. Just give me a moment to pop that back up. So we show this whole batch here. If I try tracking that whole thing and we try tracking that whole thing at 15, again, it's not going to be a long track there. We'll say 17. I'm going to extend that much, much too far, especially today with as slow as things are moving, right? Let's go 50 miles just to get a rough idea, and I'm going to have to slice through the number of cities we have there, just some rough times here. If the next round would make it down there toward West Point, it'd be like about 9 o'clock for you. Still take a while there. Starkville, we're at about 9:16 there, close to Algoma at 7:14, Calhoun City 7:52, Houston about 7:47, Eupora at just about 7:54. I do want to check in with our meteorologist Gabe Maynor here, who has been looking at some pictures coming in. Gabe, you mentioned some damage. Well, I mean, it's not big damage, but that's a damage shot. What do you got?
It's enough to be a nuisance for some folks out there towards the Elsie community just south of Vardaman. You can see that this is, I believe their bunny cage got turned over, and this is what we say with some of those gusts. It's not going to be damaging to your house structure or anything like that, but these loose structures that are just kind of sitting out and susceptible to those winds definitely could be blown over in the chair right there in the background as well. And that wasn't the only photo. We also see some tin scattered on their chicken coop there in the backyard, and then looking some more of those chairs knocked over. The fun part about this, I say fun, it's just
fun. Okay.
It wasn't fun to experience it, but it's just like you don't see this happening every day. That fridge was not opened by hand; it was actually opened by the winds. So
what?
That's what he told me from the report over there. So I believe there's more photos. This tree snapped. That's some pretty significant damage.
Okay, but you lead with that one next time, Gabe.
I'm sorry. I saved them in that order.
Hey, that's okay. Zoom in on that, because I think one of the things I noticed there is that didn't exactly look like the strongest tree in the middle of that.
No, yeah, it looks like it was hollowed out.
It was hollowed out to begin with, and it snapped from behind and kind of twisted and fallen down there. And that's actually kind of, if you go wider, the scary thing on that is it's just kind of leaning there, waiting to fall, right?
They need to get that down before.
Uh-oh, did I hit a button? Oh, I stepped on a button.
We can rewind it.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's beauty. Rewind it. I tripped on that. No, yeah, because, I mean, it's just like leaning on that fork there. That's always kind of scary when that's the case. And yeah, I have one like that that's hollowed out toward my house. I'm waiting for it. It's luckily on the driveway, not by the house, though.
Well, I assume they're going to get that knocked out because they seem pretty adamant about getting home and getting all this fixed. And I'm trying to see if that was it. Let me see. They said a light pole snapped. I was trying to see it. Well, it might have just turned off. I love technology right now. Oh, it's just not pulling up.
The last one?
That's so odd. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's okay.
Well, we'll post it on the socials later, so make sure you guys go check those out. But just pictures submitted from across the area. That's the only damage we've had so far, and if that's the only damage we're experiencing after an active day like this, it's definitely a good thing that we've kind of stayed void of that, especially with that large severe thunderstorm warning issued earlier today.
Absolutely, that is the case. And Gabe's going to have a few more other weather pictures that he's going to pull up, the ones that you submitted using the app here in just a couple moments. And that's one thing I don't want to miss before we go straight into weather picture mode. You mentioned the rainfall we've had, which has just been very significant in some spots. We have needed it. I mean, there's more rainfall today than some spots have seen in the last 3 weeks. So nice to see it. I know the Delta, unfortunately, that has not been the case. But we've at least had it for a decent number of folks today. Before we go too far into this, I want to show you the latest on Erin. Of course, Erin, tropical storm out there in the Atlantic Ocean. Right now, the winds on Erin at about 50 miles per hour, actually on the 4 p.m. update there. Expected to stay a tropical storm the next 24 hours or so. By 1 o'clock in the morning, early Friday morning, up to hurricane strength there, Category 1 hurricane, and then kind of working its way back to the north and west from there up to Category 3 strength. As you could see, fairly high up there on the Category 3, or working its way up the Category 3 scale at 120 miles per hour. Gabe has information on this, has an opinion. Go
okay,
for it.
Because it's something to notice with long track models, they're not agreeing anymore.
Okay.
And one of the models actually takes it a little bit closer inland than what it was originally said. The Euro.
Really?
Which is the European model.
Okay, that tends to be one of our better projections.
Mm-hmm. And so that was the latest development from this. But as you can see on this track, it still kind of transitions it a little bit more north before reaching inland. But it's going to be along the Carolina coast that we're watching for the potential of that steering a little bit more inland. But as of right now, I'm not really expecting it to get that far inland. The GFS, our American model, still has it pushed way out to sea. But that is a latest development on this that's a little bit different from what we've been seeing the past couple of model runs. So paying attention to that, especially when you're you're talking Cat 3 or higher, that major hurricane threshold, definitely something to keep eyes on as that heads further inland. But yeah, Matt, it's just how it's going to interact with that high pressure, that block that's going to kind of allow that weakness in the middle. That's what we're watching for. And so where that weakness takes place is going to drive this heading forward. I do want to say for impacts here in Mississippi, we're not expecting that. When we say inland, we're really talking about that far east Carolina coast right there. And then as that pushes in, we do have a frontal boundary that will develop, and that front kind of drives these storms a little bit more east. So as that front develops over here on your Monday, so way off in the future, but that front will develop there towards Tennessee and Arkansas, move a little bit east, interact with this tropical system, and then carry Aaron out to sea. So
okay, so go over there. There's a boxes button you hit on the iPad where it says picture boxes. It's the one I would use for you. It's like the fourth or fifth across on the top there.
Yes.
Do you see that? Hit that button for me real quick. This is not going to be the prettiest way we can show this. This is one way using a website that I like to show called Tropical Tidbits here. And so this is the Euro model. This is where he's talking about the much closer call. And again, this is one of our better long-range model projections. So the fact it's that close, that is massively closer than what we had seen before. And we're looking here, this would be sometime middle part of next week. But I think what is important to note on anything is what this looks like run to run. And so giving this a moment here to populate in, hopefully. Let's see if we can go back up. There we are. Let's try this. Okay, so previous run. Okay, so they're going to run before that going to show up. Okay, so apparently I have to go 2 runs back. Okay, so notice I can't point in front of that, and you can't point in front of that. That's okay. So if you mark on your screen, maybe you're the one at home to point about where it is. Well, I don't think I can left and right. Oh, there we are. Okay, so this is the current run. Look how much closer that is. That's a lot closer than the previous run that was there, and the run before that was way out there. So this is, if you go back far enough, you do have some that were a little closer. So certainly something interest along the East Coast. We're going to have to watch this because that is a lot closer than what it previously was. Now, is it too close on this projection? Absolutely a possibility, but at least something to monitor there. Gabe, you can hit actually, why don't you come on over here, because I think you had those weather pictures to show, and now it's probably about as good a time as any, right? The show starting off with a lightning strike, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's over there.
We keep stepping on the things. We keep stepping on the little foot pedals.
We're going to put tripping hazard everywhere in here.
Don't sue the boss. He doesn't have enough money for that yet.
Well, this was actually submitted from Jasmine at Cracker Barrel. So what a time to go get some. They have pancakes over there, not waffles, right? Or do they have both?
They have everything.
They do have everything.
And now I'm hungry. You had to do that to me?
I'm so sorry. Well, blame Jasmine, because she had to submit this great photo, right?
No, but don't blame her. Just patronize those businesses, right?
Exactly. But I mean, look up in the sky. The thing that impressed me the most about this was the fact that you can see it go into the clouds way high up into the atmosphere. And so this built from, I don't think it was one of those positive strikes, but one of the higher negatively charged, was that not an ion, a negatively charged particle?
Ions, yeah.
Is it an ion?
I mean, yeah.
I know Annalise is at home saying, Gabe.
Oh, man, you're going to have to work on this one. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, but those negatively charged particles up in the sky, they interact with the positively charged particles at the surface. Those come together, and that's how you get a lightning strike. Well, that took place right here with that cloud-to-ground strike. Pulling this up right here. I want to say that there was one other photo, if I can pull that up. Yeah, still from Jasmine, and this is a look at some of that shelf cloud that was pushing on through. This is around that Tupelo area. You can definitely see that this was an intense thunderstorm. No surprise that we had that much lightning associated with it. And as I clear that out and expand things out, I want to show you all around the area, because we had several of our weather watchers out in the field just submitting great photos. More on the north side of town. This was a great shot there from, I don't think there's a name on this one. Austin. It's Austin. I found it in the email. Austin submitting this picture of some of those dark clouds up in the northern side of Lee County. So just great shots all the way around, and just showing you the active pattern that we were under with some of those heaviest downpours across the area. I want to zoom out even some more, because up and around Boonville, we had a good bit of action as well. We got that one there towards Pisgah, and I believe we showed that 45 and 145 intersection. Have we shown that? I'm going to show it again, because we can. This is from, we have shown this from Carter. Just having a great shot.
That's I think more zoomed out than the picture you showed before, because you can see the whole shelf on that.
It was impressive. Just seeing that downpour in the middle, and I mean, it is scarier than what it looks like. But whenever you see a shelf cloud coming towards you, I mean, it makes you do a double take. But looking at that, I mean, that was one of our many submissions up there in Prentiss County, just highlighting that area. These over there in southern Tishomingo County, these are all new. Oh wait, no, that was from Adrian. We'll show that later tonight.
You're saving those?
Yeah, because that's from the Chattanooga, what happened up there. And so those are some pictures. And we'll kind of break that down tonight at 10. But even down there towards Monroe County, Hamilton, I believe we showed that one, and we showed the Aliceville. Trying to see if we have new ones developing. We haven't gotten many submissions over there in Lafayette and Calhoun County, so make sure to submit those for our weather watchers out there, because I know that that's where the action lies right now. But just plenty of great pictures across the region, and we are so grateful for everybody just submitting the pictures, showing us what's happening where you're at, and just giving us a great look in the sky. And that we showed Misty, because Misty was funny, because I wanted you to say it was misty there in Smithville, but it was not misty because it was raining. Haha.
Well, it was just a thick mist.
Funny, a thick mist. That's what we're going to start calling rain. I'm trying to see. I believe that's it. We'll expand things out and just kind of see if there's any submitted down south. But I would say overall, I mean, Weather Watcher's been showing out. The storms have been showing out. We finally got that much needed rainfall.
Absolutely. And we could use a lot more of it.
Yes.
I think we wouldn't really turn down much more. So still watching, of course, this batch of heavy rainfalls we talked about a minute ago. This is going to span south and east. We're not talking severe weather. We are talking heavy rainfall, though, with this as it continues to move in, and some flooding rainfall from time to time. So those are the main impacts here. As we kind of wrap things up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 o'clock, we did kind of promise the rainbow here. Tupelo had it a second ago. Let's see if we still do. Just a little faintest rainbow showing up as that storm that kind of collapsed south of Plantersville continues to go away. A lot of convective debris, the leftover cloud cover here, I think from time to time is going to make for some excellent weather pictures tonight. You can, of course, submit those in the app. If you're watching us on Facebook, we appreciate it, and thank all of y'all there that are asking. Somebody who's asking specifically about North Mississippi, and again, we're looking at the rainfall, we're watching that, and we give you kind of one more over on all of the looks here where the heaviest rainfall is. This is thankfully not severe weather, so I just need to emphasize that. This is a lot of heavy rainfall, this is lightning. One thing we have not touched on this show, in this broadcast, are power outages. It does look like power outages aren't terribly bad for most locations out there, at least not that are reporting at this instant. But you can see tons of lightning, and that tends to cause power disruption. So I'm kind of shocked we don't have more in the way of power disruptions associated with this. But things kind of wrapping up there in Senatobia. So this portion, of course, the heaviest rainfall, less of a factor for you. Continuing to watch things kind of expanding there closer to Thaxton and Takapola. Of course, a ton of heavy rainfall over where our Oxford location is there for that camera. Sarepta. In Calhoun County, it's just moderate rainfall. I mean, listen, it's a big old downpour, but it's below severe limits there. And same thing for what's coming into Calhoun City as well at this instant. So this is just going to be a big old rainmaker here. Not something you necessarily have to pay attention to, but certainly it's something we'll be watching through the evening. One little pop-up there in the last couple minutes southeast of the Ackerman area. Our next broadcast is going to be tonight during our 10 o'clock show. Of course, live here from the Room to Room Weather Center on Mississippi Live Weather. Our meteorologist Gabe Manor will be looking at all those weather pictures that you have submitted in. We appreciate all of you for doing that and supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. And of course, support Room to Room and all the different sponsors that you see during this broadcast. It certainly makes a difference on us being able to do this long term and making sure that we're viable doing this. So I appreciate that so much. Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.
See it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Low to mid 90s.